after a little while, I met you in the library,
Yeah.
and I think I posted it on IG for your birthday. I talked about it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
How
That
you were,
particular story.
yeah, you were playing. We were on. It was a computer class in the library, and you were playing a song, and I
Christian
passed a
song.
Christian song, and I
Yeah.
passed by, and I was like, "Hey, dude, you go? I know that song." And you go to church? Or like, yeah. And then we just started going to.
It was a rap from there.
20 years later,
We linked up through a Christian song, and then we started doing
I started going to your
bad
church.
things.
We started doing bad
Yeah.
things. Started going to your church. I invited my family to your church,
That's
and
right.
then for a while I had my aunts and everyone going over
Yeah.
there.
And for those who don't know, my dad's a pastor.
Uh,
So he had his own church. So yeah, that's why I invited you. And you started coming to my parents' church. Yeah,
and then we found out we both played music. Well, I'm not as good as you,
I'm not that good either.
but we both played piano, and then started trying to learn.
I still remember you taught me a song. I really.
I remember you and Julio. You guys had me over. Then I played a little bit for you. And you guys were like, "Oh, like you guys were kind of impressed that I knew how to play."
Yeah.
And then I don't know, you just got way better so fast.
I don't know what happened.
And now you play like how many instruments do you play now?
A little bit of everything. Pianos, I say is my strong. Piano, bass, guitar, a little bit of drums.
And then you started in church because you always tell me that you never wanted to play, right? Your
No,
brother started first.
My brother started first, yeah. They started when they were really young. My dad plays the guitar, and he would play at church, and then he taught like Julio how to play, and then he taught Babo. Julio taught Babo how to play the drums, and they would play with my dad forever at church, and I would just sit with my mom like nothing really to do. People would ask me too, like, "What are you gonna play?" And I was like, "I don't know. I'm not interested in playing." But yeah, one time my dad was like, "You need to learn how to play something." He bought me a keyboard, old Casio keyboard, and I didn't even know like where to start. I kind of messed around with it a couple times and just threw it under my bed, and it was just sitting there. I remember going to a youth service, and I seen a friend of mine playing piano at his church, and I was like, "What the heck?" And I just kind of like I was like impressed by that. So I was like, "Well, if he could play, I could probably learn how to play." And that night, I went home and took out my keyboard, started messing with it. And yeah, my dad bought me like this book with chords and stuff, just basic chords. And then I just started learning chords. And
But you mostly play by ear. Or you do,
Yeah,
or you know
yeah.
how to read chords.
no, and just mostly by ear.
You
But
learned.
they were just chords that you can, just basic chords.
That's kind of how I learned too. I just learned at church, wanting to learn,
Yeah.
and just kind of just learning a song like the lyrics and then just playing.
Yeah.
But did singing come naturally, or you just sang because you had to? There was no lead
No.
singer at your church.
No, well, I would sing with my dad. When I didn't play and when I was younger, like I'd sing, but just like specials at church here and there. But so once I started playing piano, I think a couple of months into playing the piano, my dad was like, "Hey, can you?" I remember it was Christmas time, Christmas service, and he was like, "You think you can get a few songs ready and you lead worship for Christmas?" And I was like, "Oh man," I was like, "I can try," and he's like, "All right." And I just picked like some basic, easy songs, that we could play, and yeah, that was my very first time leading worship was for a Christmas service on my dad's church, and then from there, like it never stopped. Once I did it one time, my dad was like, "Just keep going, keep doing it."
So, but yeah, because when I met you, you were already singing. Like
Yeah.
it was natural. Like,
Yeah.
It's just something you did. Like if you wanted to show someone a song, you just sing it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's how I started just learning chords because I didn't really learn melodies or anything.
Right,
so if
yeah.
I learned the chords and then you just sing to it and
Yeah.
then
At least I
Yeah.
didn't know how back then, It was
uh,
I could just like play chords and sing.
and then over the years you had different styles because when I first met you, you guys had a certain style.
Yeah.
And then later on, I came back like 3-4 years later, and you guys were like in that whole salsa era, no?
Yeah.
You guys were playing a lot of
Yeah.
salsa music and.
Even with like within the church, like we changed like genres of that.
Uh,
We started off with like basic stuff, like first like coritos,
uh,
and then we were doing like inspiración stuff, and then from there moved on to like contemporary stuff. We did do like the salsa stuff for a while. Yeah,
and then
just-
now you gig. Now you play. You more of a jazz person now, or you play? I mean, I don't know. Like when I first started seeing you gig, when I started hanging out with you more, after like years of not seeing you, you were inviting me to your gigs, and it was a whole different style. Now you were
Right.
playing with like in town, different places, and it
different
was a
things.
different style. It was jazz music. Well,
Yeah.
kind of jazzy, I guess.
kinda
Everything.
jazzy. Yeah, like R&B, top 40, some jazz. Yeah. At least I try playing jazz. Jazz is a whole different level, man. But I could say I faked it, but in reality, I was just wanting to learn, you know. But yeah, some jazz around town, um, and then from there, like again R&B, and then from there, I started doing like Mexican music, norteño music. Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I started getting.
But you play bass now on those. So
yeah.
when did that switch? You went from keyboard to bass?
I would play piano when I started playing now at like all these different venues and all this R&B music and stuff. I was playing piano, and I was playing for this saxophone player, and I remember I was playing piano, and his bass player left, and he was like, "Hey, I can't find another bass player." He said, "But I have a keyboard player," and I was like, "Well, get the keyboard player." And I was like, "I don't really play. Like, I know the basic bass chords or notes. Get the keyboard player, and I'll jump on bass."
So they just threw you in? You just threw yourself in?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I just pretty much threw. And for the same reason, I wanted to learn. So then I started playing bass with him, and the same thing. Just the more you play it, like the more you learn, and obviously like practice too, you know. And the thing is, like, I wasn't very good at it, and I'm not saying I'm all good, but I would always like want to push myself and challenge myself to get better. So I practice all the time. So
I know that's something you always say. You always say I got better because I hung out with people.
Oh yeah,
you hung out with people who were better than you.
Yeah, yeah, all the time. I've always said that. Yeah.
I only hang out with you. How come I'm not getting any better?
But yeah, I always want to hang around people that were better than me. For the same reason, you like number one, they inspire you to like. I would hear people, I'm like, man, that guy's good. I want to go and practice, and you know, that was always a good thing. It's bad when I've always said it's bad when you don't want to. You're not teachable. You know? When you can't accept criticism, because if I wouldn't have took criticism from people, like I probably wouldn't be where I am. You know. So yeah, allowing people and accepting the criticism helped me out. You know, like, hey, you're overplaying, or you're playing too dirty, or this and that. And I even did like a couple of gigs where, like, you know, I'm sure all musicians have done through it where you get like, they kind of like put you down in a way, you know. And it's just number one, it humbles you, and you do feel bad. You know, you feel like crap. Or like, man, I better go practice and get better, and you know. That's how it is. That's how it is in everything.
So when you started gigging like at restaurants with other bands, did that become more like something you look forward to than gigging at church?
In a way, yeah, because you're so used to like, you know, playing church, and I love church music.
Because you would get a lot of gigs at church too.
Yeah.
I mean, you gig everywhere.
Right. I was gigging at a lot of churches and gigging out of town and stuff like that. But once you start playing out of church, it's like a whole different ballgame. Like, man, these musicians are like really good. And I'm not saying church musicians aren't good. They are really good. I don't know. It's just a whole nother level. Like, opened my mind up to a whole nother genre.
I remember Sequoia Brewery. I went with you. Was that the first time I remember you sang? Or you were nervous. There was one gig you had, and you're like, "Hey, I'm going to sing today. Come with me."
And I was just
it was you by yourself, and I think you were going to sing for another band was playing, and they asked you to do a couple songs. And that was your first time singing that kind of style.
Yeah,
it was like
like
R&B-ish. Yeah, and you were real nervous.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
you did good though.
Yeah.
Who else was there? Was I the only one who showed up?
Yeah, I think so. That memory actually just came up on my Facebook not too long ago. Yeah. But yeah, I remember that was my first time singing, like at a church and then like that style of music, R&B.
And where do you gig around town mostly, you guys?
Well, right now we gig. We're actually this Friday we're playing at Sequoia Brew.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And you know, well, because of the shutdown and everything, they're slowly starting to reopen. So I think we got like a couple of weddings coming up, different other venues that we're playing for. So yeah, everything's starting to open up. But yeah, we do mostly around town, like venues and restaurants.
And that's a big thing when the pandemic hit. A lot of musicians, believe it or not, a lot of people who gig, like you have a lot of buddies. Well, we know a lot of people. That's what they do for a living. Like your buddies, they gig and stuff like that. So when the pandemic hit, you took a big hit too, right? You stopped gigging. And
yeah, I mean, I stopped gigging.
Did you want to gig though? Like, cause you knew that.
Well,
about the COVID was out there. And
I've been the last couple of years. I've been gigging a lot, man. Like, I mean, at times I was playing with like 4 or 5 different bands, So honestly, when COVID hit, it was a nice break, from everything, and not being able to go out and like just staying home with the family. That was nice because I was always so used to like go.
Yeah,
go,
always on the run.
From work to church to gigs and like man,
You were gigging like
a lot,
3-4
man.
times a week,
Yep,
you know?
a lot.
And then on Sunday,
And then Sundays,
like
yeah,
2-3
all
gigs
day.
at church.
At church, yeah. I was busy, man. So, but yeah, it did affect a lot of people. I know there's a lot of people that just do music, and they took a big hit. I mean, they had to look for other jobs other than music because, well, there's nothing in the music scene.
And we spoke daily when the pandemic was hitting, and that was one of our fears. Our fears were losing our job.
Right. Yeah.
And what's crazy is I actually did better last year than I have in the last couple of years because my job, had our back and stuff like that. So I ended up keeping my job and doing good and stuff like that. And then you did. I mean,
at the time I was working, like driving for this company, and it seems like we got busier.
Yeah. And now you have a full-time. Now you're you're a full-time worship leader.
Yeah. So I've been at this new gig for like 4 months now, going on 4 months, and 3 months, sorry. So I'm a full-time worship leader now, which I don't know. I had never really like considered becoming a full-time worship leader, but it was a good opportunity, and they offered, good compensation and benefits and everything. So yeah, I went for it. Yeah, that's what I'm doing now, and it's cool. I enjoy it.
Yeah. So now everything's starting to open up. A lot of musicians are happy. I've been seeing online, like, I don't know, man. You think it's cool that because we heard about Texas. Texas opened up 100%.
I know.
And they're going all out, dude. No mask, no nothing.
I know, that's crazy.
And in a way, I guess they were celebrating it, but me thinking like, I don't know, is that safe yet? Exactly. Because COVID affected us differently.
Yeah. Exactly.
When I remember when it first started happening, we talked, and it started in the beginning. We would be like, COVID's not gonna come this way,
That's crazy.
Like we didn't think nothing big about it,
Yeah.
And then it went from that to it's in Cali, it's in the United States, and then and then we would make jokes about, dude, do you know anyone who has COVID? I don't know any person who has COVID, but they would say the hospitals were packed, and everything was packed. And then it got closer and closer.
We became conspiracy
theories.
Like,
exactly.
The hospitals are all empty.
And then finally one day we're like, hey, this person I know has COVID. And then this person has COVID. Crazy. And it just got closer and closer. And then the shutdowns and afraid about losing work. And then finally in October, I caught it.
Yeah.
And then we know you went through a whole ordeal too in the beginning of the year.
I lost my brother.
Your brother lost.
Yeah.
That was actually your second brother, right?
My second brother, yeah. Yeah, I lost a stepbrother first, and then my younger brother, my little brother,
And the same thing with Babo. I mean, we joked about it too. We would joke about it the year before, last year, like hanging out, barbecues, and you don't think it's gonna be that serious, and then it just caught everybody by storm,
And I think, a lot of the people who say like, oh, it's just a flu or it's nothing, you'll be all right, Maybe they haven't experienced like a loss or something like that, But going back to like the Texas thing, if they were to open up here, like, fully open, no mask, like, dude, I'd still wear my mask.
I think I would
carry around my satchel. Like, it's weird. Like, I don't know if I could ever go back to normal. I mean, at some point probably, but not right now,
Well, I know people are saying that once they take the vaccine that they're not going to wear their mask. Right. I mean, unless it's mandated, but, not wearing their mask around friends or when they go out and stuff like that, but I don't think the vaccine works that way, does it?
Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't feel safe.
I don't think so either. No, but yeah, the COVID hit everyone different, man. I know I caught it in October last year, and now I don't know. There's a few people that I don't know that caught COVID. Yeah. Most of the people I know have caught it. My family members caught it. Yeah. Good thing. Like, my parents haven't caught it and stuff like that. But I know your parents caught it too.
Yeah, my parents caught it too, yeah.
They were sick for a while.
Oh, yeah. Well, my younger brother, when that passed, was living with them at the time. So they caught it. And it's crazy because, they're older and they're sick too, and they survived it. And they're doing really, really good right now. Like, they're completely off the oxygen and walking around. My mom's even driving now.
Oh, that's good.
So, they're doing really, really good.
If you guys don't know, Babo was a musician too.
Yep.
He played drums, and that's who you were talking about earlier. He was a real good musician.
Yeah.
And that was the thing we always liked to see Babo play drums because he stopped for a while.
Yeah,
you know,
he did.
and towards the end he wasn't really playing that much. But
Yeah.
when you guys would gig and
Yeah.
people were like, "Get jump on the drums, Babo,
Yeah.
jump on the drums," and everyone would get excited because he was a good musician. You
He
know,
was,
like
yeah.
grew up with playing in church with you guys and everything like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I know. It was just fun seeing him jump on the drum.
Yeah.
And he just mess around. And it was weird, dude. Like a vibe that he had that just brought like happiness. He was just an outgoing guy. And I enjoyed being around him.
And we ended up finding that out at the funeral. Well, after he passed, you got a bunch of calls and emails and text messages
Stories.
of random people. You were telling us at the viewing that
Yeah.
all these stories of people
He
that
helped
knew
out.
Babo.
Yeah.
That he was.
He helped out a
Yeah.
lot of people, dude. Yeah. Like financially, and then he was always the kind of person who's like trying to motivate people, and, do this or go to school or get your education. He was always like trying to inspire people, showing inspirational videos and stuff like that.
That's how
he was a good-hearted guy.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, until it affects you that way, there's a lot of people who won't take it serious.
Yeah, exactly.
And no, dude, yeah, it's crazy. So you play? Are you working on any music yourself, or?
I am. I have a couple songs that I've written. I have a bunch of songs that I've started but haven't finished.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a couple songs that I've written that I want to put out soon.
Because you were talking about earlier that you play Mexican music. Well,
Yeah.
how would you define that as different kinds of Mexican music, right?
Yeah. So you mean the type of music
Yeah,
that I
like,
play?
you guys play like different types of.
They're corridos.
Yeah.
Corridos. But it's weird. It's not like corridos like the old school corridos like Ramon Ayala.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was gonna say because you've actually been like in a couple of music videos, and I went with you, and some haven't even been released yet. Because I went with you that were a couple that we filmed. Well, not we, but they filmed.
Yeah.
What was the label? The
Hi-Fi Music.
Happy Music.
Yeah.
And there were some pretty big artists that are big now.
Yeah.
That you worked with, and you actually wrote for them, right?
Right. Yeah.
And then those haven't even been released. Are they gonna release them?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what happened. But yeah, I was thinking the same thing. There's a lot of videos we recorded that never really made it out. I don't know what the artists and the company have like planned out, or I don't know what they have. But yeah, they're done. There's like full albums that are done that never came out either.
And most of those guys, they're big now. They're like they're
like
signed to different labels, bigger
big
labels.
Yeah, in LA and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah, well, I've started the podcast because, well, we fell in love with podcasts about 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
And that's all I do at work because I'm a driver. So I literally, in the morning, load my van. And I get in, I turn the YouTube on or whatever, and I just listen to podcasts all day.
I miss that, man. When I used to drive, that's what I would do. Like put my YouTube or podcast or music and just drive and listen.
Yeah. And there's so many, and that was the thing I found out with podcasts because you hear so many different opinions from different people. But how can I say, like, you can hear so many different opinions of one topic from so many different people, you know? So you can watch 4 different podcasts about one subject, and you're going to hear all these different opinions, you know?
Yeah.
But, of course, we all know Joe Rogan and all that stuff. We all fell in love with those. And honestly, it started with the motivation videos.
Really?
Yeah, we started with we would send each other the motivational videos, and that's how I got into those podcasts, because one day I was like, what if I just watch a full podcast, you know, and not just the 5-minute clip of the motivational video, and then I ended up just
It's
falling
crazy.
in love
I
with
remember because there were some podcasts they're long. They're like 3 hours long, so I'd have to like watch them like in parts, you know, like an hour a day. Because man, trying to listen to a whole 3-hour podcast is hard.
I do it.
Yeah.
I do it at
It
work
was hard
because
for me.
I'm driving the whole time, dude. So like I get off, unload, and I jump back in. I'll hear the same. I'll listen to like maybe 2 8-hour shifts. I'll listen to at least two a day.
Right.
And it depends on how small they are, but I don't know. It's just something I liked, and something I thought I'd give it a shot at. I gave a shot at it, and I don't know. I just decided to start fixing all this up.
That's cool.
Have you as my first guest. And so you said you are working on your own music, right?
Yeah, I am.
Do you have any plans on releasing anything?
There's a video of a song that I wrote that I want to release soon. It's pretty much ready. Just a few little things I need to work on. But yeah, like I said, I have a few, but this one's like the closest one to like being finished. Completely. You
All right.
actually you shot the video for it. So
I don't know what he's talking about. I didn't shoot no
but it's
music
cool.
video.
It was fun.
I wanted to air it on. I wanted to post it here on the video, like
Yeah.
as a preview, or how would you say, like
Yeah, like a little.
maybe a teaser,
Yeah.
or just like debut it.
Right.
But
Yeah.
we haven't finished it
I know,
yet. So.
I know.
It's a long process, dude. I thought it was. It's harder than you think it is. But
And the thing is, like, I have stuff like going on. You know, like I help other people record, or other people's recording and stuff, and you know, work and family and everything. So it's hard to make time to like actually finish a recording. You know?
Yeah. So how many bands are you gigging with right now? Because I know you're gigging with your boy Martin with Fuerza Unida.
Right.
And then if you guys want to check them out, it's Instagram, right? Fuerza Unida.
Fuerza Unida, yeah.
And then you're gigging with Down For You.
Down For You, yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's a couple more people that I'm going to start working with. Next week, I'm actually starting recording all next week with, again, some Mexican dude that reached out to me. We're going to be recording soon. And I'm also going to start playing with Patrick Contreras. He's a violinist, violin player here from around town. So I'm going to start gigging with him soon. Yeah, and then I play with Down For You.
Down For You.
Yeah.
And Down For You, would you guys have your own songs too? Or?
No, those are just covers. Mostly just covers. Well, actually all covers.
And you guys had pretty big shows with Down For You. You guys played at, what is it, the Grizzly Stadium for?
Grizzly Fest.
Grizzly Fest. And
No, not Grizzly Fest. The Taco Throwdown.
Taco Throwdown. Yeah, I remember that last year.
Yeah.
And then who headlined for that? That was
A.B. Quintanilla, the Cumbia Kings. Yeah.
That was pretty cool. We got to hang out in the back.
Man. Yeah. Oh, that's right. You were with me.
I went with you. We got to hang out in the back. And yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's been fun, man. The thing that I like about that band, you know, those two bands, Fuerza Unida and Down For You, is that like there's no pressure. You know, number one, we're all good friends. Number two, there's no pressure. Like we play whatever we want, and you know, nobody tells us anything.
And you can see it too when you guys, when I go see you guys gig. Yeah. You know, you guys don't look nervous. You're just jamming out.
We're just having fun, man. That's
and that's a level of musician that a lot of people never get to. You know, like me when I play, or people ask me, "Oh, can you help out at church?" Right. I'm not like I don't do it like I'm not having fun. You know what I'm saying? There's some people who have fun. Yeah. I get nervous, you know, and I just most of the time I won't do it. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
Once you get to a certain level with you're comfortable and you're comfortable with what you're doing, you just it's a whole nother it's another level.
But again, there's playing with those people, it makes a difference. Because I play with other people and I feel under pressure. You know, I better do good. You know, but with those guys, it's like you can mess up or what. Nobody cares.
Is it because you feel they're better, or you don't want to mess up in front of them, or?
I think it's both. Like I'm comfortable that if I mess up, they're not gonna judge me or say like, "Hey, what happened?" Like no. They don't care. We're just having a good time. We're just literally just getting together to play, and it's cool. And it's fun, you know, because people actually enjoy that. And yeah, we have people like and friends come out to our shows and stuff. But again, we're just having fun, really. And that's the cool part. Once you get to that level where you're just enjoying and just playing with no pressure, it's cool.
Yeah. So you said your next gig with Down For You is when? Where?
On Friday at Sequoia Room.
Sequoia Room. Which one? There's two.
The one North Fresno, like Champlain, and I don't remember the other street. But yeah, the one up north.
Okay. What time you guys start?
We start at 8 to 11.
And it's a restaurant?
Yeah, it's a restaurant. We're still doing outdoor dining.
Family oriented?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Everyone can come to them?
Yeah. It pretty much is. It's cool.
All right.
Yeah,
what else? You have anything else to say? Hey, this was my first little episode. Yep. Just wanted to wet my feet, see how it works out, see how comfortable I can be in front of the mic. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I appreciate you coming.
Thank you for having me.
We were going to show our little Starbucks we bought earlier, but...
We don't want to get sued, so we put them in this.
So, you know, so many people watching the podcast, we didn't want to get you know, taken off because we had something we weren't supposed to have on here, but... Exactly. Yeah, dude. I appreciate it. Yeah. Go check Cesar out. Your Instagram, Cesaring.
Yeah, Cesaring18. That's CESARING
and
18 at Instagram.
Yeah. And then your other two bands you play with?
Is Down For You. That's down, the number 4, and then YOU. That's on Facebook and Instagram. And then Fuerza Unida, that's Facebook and Instagram as well. So,
All right.
yeah, man, thanks
So
for
if you guys
having
are
me.
watching, check them out, look them up, subscribe, follow them, like all their videos, and see you guys next time.
Thank you,
All
man.
right.